Is should be with us now. My nerves, girls. This lady, as I said, she's been gigging around Ireland since she was 13 years old. She's absolutely amazing. Are we in, Kira? Center across. Yes. Yes, I think we have her now. There you are. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what I was doing there. And you know what? My nerves are gone, Kira. My nerves are actually gone. You're absolutely amazing. I went live and was trying to add you in. I've just been explaining who you are. You need absolutely no introduction. You've been gigging around Ireland since you were 13 years old. You've done over 400 weddings. You have performed in the Olympia, in Vicar Street, at the Point, in the Helix. You opened the FM 104 gig in 2013 at the Olympia. You won the Rights Venue competition, singing competition, over 580 contestants. And you've opened a vocal training school where you train adults and kids. And might I add, you were absolutely robbed by your own on the Voice of Ireland. Do you know what, Ciara? I'm not going to lie. I didn't know about that. I've been
God,
many times. I've been to see you many, many, many times, and I knew that you were on the Voice of Ireland, but I hadn't seen it, and I hadn't even heard about it because it was so long ago as well. Thank God.
Thank
But
God.
when I watched it, Ciara, I was disgusted. For a start, Cian Egan, who are you? You're a backing singer, right? Brezzy, who is he? Do you know what I mean? And the other ones I didn't even recognise. So, Ciara, you were the star on that stage that night. Nobody else.
To be honest, like looking back on, I don't look back on it, but thinking back on it, like I wasn't well. Obviously, you'd say that, but I genuinely wasn't. I was on a wedding the night before. I wasn't well that day. It wasn't the best song I've ever sang in my life. I loved that song, but it was just more. My thing was more so. They basically give you a list when you go there. They give you a list of like 10, 15 songs. You have to choose off that list.
Oh, right. So you didn't get the pick.
No. So, well, you have to choose from that list. So I wanted to sing Listen by Beyonce. I wasn't
Yeah, that's my favourite that you sing.
So they had said, no, you're not allowed to sing that song. It has to be off this list. And then I had said about a Jackson 5 song I wanted to do. That wasn't on the list, so it wasn't happening. So I went with that one because I kind of sang that live anyway. So it's kind of whatever. But the way they kind of twisted it when I went out, it was like, why did you choose that song? And you're not allowed to say, well, I didn't actually want this song. You know what I mean? But I mean, it just comes across as like sour grapes if you start kind of arguing.
No, I think they came across. I think they came across nasty. I think they came across very rude.
They were quite rude.
They were very rude.
It's television. Do you know what I mean? Like it was, like the whole idea was I was going out there and my name was irrelevant. Who I was irrelevant. Who I was related to was irrelevant, and that's the only reason I even agreed to go, like to kind of go along.
Do you think that they knew?
They did know. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to know. They had to know. From what I saw, I think they knew.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't. So what happened was I'm standing back. They bring you down in trees. So I'm standing and there's a fella beside me and a girl beside me. And Owen McDermott, he works for 2FM now. He was kind of he was presenting like an extra factor for the Voice, whatever it is, I don't know. But
Yeah.
he kind of was passing, and he kind of turned and he says, "Oh, you're Ciara Dignam, are you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I heard you were here. I can't wait to hear you." And I was like, no one is supposed to know who anyone is here. That's that was the idea of the Voice, because it's irrelevant who you are, and I never wanted who I am to. You know what I mean, with my dad and everything, I never wanted that to influence anybody. I never want anybody to like me because they're a fan of my dad's, or hate me because they don't like me dad. If you don't like me, don't like me.
Yeah.
You know, I never wanted to be judged before anybody even heard me. So
well, I watched it, Ciara, and I was like, that was a belter. That was an absolutely amazing song. I thought it was fantastic. Not one of them could have sang that song. Like, I posted a clip of you singing a Whitney Houston song today, and I got shivers listening to that. Like, I know how good you are because I've been to see you, but I hadn't watched a lot of the videos. Like, I really searched you today. Like, I Googled Jive, YouTube Jive, searched your whole Instagram. I can tell you now, your son got 9 honours and a pass in higher level, all his high level classes. Like, your daughter is horse riding. Your son also won Leinster Boxing Championship October 2019, weighing in at 57 kilos. I've done my homework on you, girl. But when I say you're just something special, you really are. And you're right. I think you're 100%. I am saying you were absolutely robbed by your own because of who your dad is. That's exactly what I think.
Like, I never went on trying to win. I never thought I'd win. Like, it wasn't like that. It was kind of.
What you thought of?
And it was kind of a thing that was put to me, and I was like, look, I'll go along with it. We'll see what happens. Now, it
was a long time ago, I suppose.
Yeah, and like when I went on, I didn't go on kind of being overly confident or anything like that. And like, to be honest, I did listen back once, like this kind of. But watching it, like, you know, when you're kind of, oh my God. But anyway, I did look back on it, and it wasn't me best. Like, it genuinely wasn't me best. But I think their mind was made up regardless. You know what I mean? Which is cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, when it happened, it was like getting a box in the face, because you're standing there, it's embarrassing. Like,
yeah.
Not like,
with Keane Egan looking at you saying, well, you're good, but
when
what?
I realised,
who the hell are you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like, at the time, it was like, oh my God. And I went out for a couple of days, it stung, like, and they don't televise that for like 2 months. So I knew. And then it was kind of wait for everybody else. So you have to be embarrassed again when it's on. In the papers and stuff. So it was kind of, oh Jesus, you know, and you know that's coming. Like, but I was kind of over at that stage. And like, to be honest with you, when it was televised, within about 3 days, I was booked out solid for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, there you go. That'll show you.
There's a silver.
You know what I mean?
You know what
and
I mean?
whoever, God knows, I don't know who else was on that year or who won or whatever, but I guarantee they're not where you are right now, because thank God it hasn't knocked your confidence. You've been belting out the tunes for years, and you're now writing your new album.
I am. So what happened was, I was planning on doing an EP. So I've been really busy for the last 12 years with like weddings and corporate gigs and pubs, and it's just been crazy. And it got to the point where all along I was saying I want to do my own thing, I want to do my own album, and I never really got a chance because we just got so busy, which was brilliant. Like, it's amazing because that's what I want to be doing. I'm a singer. Like, that's my full-time job. So I can't obviously complain about being so busy, but it meant that I didn't have the time to kind of say, right, I'm going to allocate this time to an album, because we were so busy. So with COVID, although it's a course, and although of course, like, to my industry is still is a nightmare.
It's ruined, isn't it, for now?
You know, we don't know, there's no roadmap for us. But at the same time, it gave me the opportunity to sit back and say, okay, I may as well use this time wisely and get my album together. So initially, it started off, I was doing an EP, so it was like a 3 or 4 track EP. And then when I'm working with a producer and songwriter, so we were kind of saying, we were kind of Skyping because we couldn't be around each other. So,
Yeah.
and I was to fly to England to record my 3 or 4 track EP.
I saw that. Was that in March last year?
Yeah. So when all this happened, I couldn't fly. We were in lockdown. And then we were like, look, we'll Zoom and we'll kind of I was sending lyrics, he was sending music. We were working that way. And the fact that Darren, my husband, is here, he can play piano and guitar. So he was able to help me out with keys and things like that. So we were able to do it between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
So then it kind of got to the stage where it was like, why don't we go for an album? And I was like, if we don't now, we never will. So
yeah,
that's kind of where we are at the moment. So then we were kind of lifted out of lockdown, so I kind of got a load of songs kind of recorded, then went back into lockdown. So then I couldn't do anything else, so we were working online again. Then now at the moment I have 11 tracks done and I have another 2 to do. So
11.
Yeah. So
oh my God.
The plan initially was late this year, maybe October. But then you have to kind of be strategic about these things. It's all very confusing, but like you'd have to look at like the Christmas market and things like that. And I don't really want to compete with that, because a lot of the people that are bringing out albums around that time, like Andrea Corr, Shane File now, Westlife, they're all established, and I don't want to get forgotten about with all of that. Do you know what I mean? So we're looking at January, February, and it'll be a big lockdown. So
well, yeah, I think that would be better as well. And you know what? I loved how you did, you know, your lockdown kitchen Christmas songs, and you know that just lifted everybody's spirits. They were great. Like, and you'd look at the phone, Ciara Dignam's gone live, and I was like, oh my God, look at this! And it belted out Fairy Tale in New York, and you just don't care. You're just absolutely brilliant. Like I watched you sing and listen. Now I have to tell this story. I already explained this to you, but a few years ago we went to see it in Finglas in a GAA club. And it was, you know, the start of the night, and everybody was still drinking and laughing, and I think there'd been football on or something, so the place was loud and rowdy, and you started singing and they carried on drinking and talking, and then you started to sing Listen, and by the second line of the song, you could hear a pin drop in the place. Shivers went up spine, like, but just the voice on you, Ciara. Like, I'm so glad that none of that knocked you, because you're absolutely brilliant. Your song Listen, Tennessee Whiskey, there's absolutely nothing that you can't sing. There's very little. You've done the Aslan things. You can go from Beyonce to Christy Dignam in 2 bars. Do you know what I mean? And it's unbelievable. Like, that's proper talent. Like, it's absolutely amazing. And I like, I don't know, I am just in awe of you, girl. I really am. I know you're a great mammy. You're a full-time mammy. You've 3 lovely kids.
Ask me kids before you make assumptions like that.
Well, don't ask my kids. No, but yeah, you're a great mammy. As I said, you had a lovely picture of Jake. Was last day of 1st class. Like, that's really proud. My little boy is just going into 1st class, and he's in Finglas as well in school. And as I said, Ava, we're horse riding and everything. Cian, I seen a picture of him with the guitar. Is he into music?
He is, yeah, big time. And he's always been, even from a baby, like I'd go shopping and I'd have a little iPad, or what were they called years ago?
Oh, the little iPods.
Yes. Yeah. So he'd sit in like 2 and 3 years of age, sitting listening to like Stevie Wonder. So I knew
deadly
job. So like teenage parents, so it could have went downhill, but when you know your child has good right.
Yeah. No, were you young? You must have been young having him, were you?
I was 17 having him.
Yeah, my daughter was 17 having hers as well now, yeah. Well, I mean, wow, good girl. Like, but still to still be gigging all the time through all that as a young mammy.
I was sick from kind of 12, 13, and then that's all I wanted to do. Like, I decided when I was about 11, like, I'm ready to leave school. Like, I'm a singer.
I'm going to be a singer. I'm
wasting my time making me confirmation. I'm going to be a singer. And we're going in one night to my mum and dad, and I was like, no, a few years ago, I was about 14, and I had like, I want to be a singer. I want to. There's nothing else I want to do. I wasn't able to do anything else.
Yeah.
And I actually said, now thinking about it now, like, but I said to my dad, you don't understand. Like, now I realise how stupid that is, but because he knew exactly what it felt like. So,
of course.
I was right, look, wait till you're not leaving school till you're 16.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, okay, I'll slum it till then. And then I left school. I done my junior cert and I left school. And I was enrolled into Ballyfermot School of Music, which was in September. And in the January, I found out I was pregnant on Keane.
Oh my Lord!
Over, so I couldn't enroll. I couldn't start the year because I wouldn't have been able to finish it. So I was like, that's it now. That me singing is gone. I can never kind of, that dream is gone out the window.
Yeah.
I was trying to be sensible, and
yeah,
my mum owned a hairdresser, so I was like, I'll just have to get an apprenticeship because at least I can always make money.
Yeah.
And Darren was great. Like, he always worked, and he was. I knew I could rely on him for that, but I didn't. You know what I mean? You want to be able to kind of provide for your child. So
yeah,
I trained as to be a hairdresser, and I love it. Like, I love.
Did you do it? Are you a hairdresser as well?
Yeah, like I loved.
I didn't know you trained. Good girl.
Yeah, but see that, like, it was kind of just to have a trade, but I actually really enjoyed it. Like,
yeah,
I really enjoyed it, but it was never like in my heart. Like, I wanted to be a singer. So
yeah,
I had Keane, and obviously I stopped gigging. Went to college and everything for hair and beauty, and then kind of through the years, then like we were working and getting a mortgage and all that crap. So we ended up buying our house when we were about 21, and then we went out one night. Darren's family all love singing too, and they'd all go up doing karaoke and stuff. We went out one night.
I seen you on the floor with them doing Rock the Boat, by the way. Yeah.
But so we sent them up by one of the and they called me, and I was like, no way, because I hadn't sang since before I had Keane at that stage. So I was like, not a chance, it's not happening. And Darren's like, please just get up, and I was like, no. And then his man all like, get up. So they got me up anyway.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what I sang, but everybody in the pub stood up clapping at the end, and I died. Like,
yeah.
So I just kind of just, and people are coming over saying like, you have, like, Jesus Christ, you're a great singer. I was like, yeah, thanks very much. You've
forgotten how good you were. The thing probably lost the confidence a bit.
Now if people come up to me, I'm so uncomfortable with. I don't know. I think it's an Irish thing. You don't know how to take compliments. Just like, thank you, bye, go away. You just.
Sure, I bear hugged you in Deals a couple of months ago. Had to be taken off you by the bouncer.
Yeah, but I think that was COVID as well. You weren't supposed to be touching people.
That's what it was. It was a COVID thing, yeah. It was.
But the next morning, anyway, Darren went to me, man, and he said, look, can I have Elenda $3,000? She was like, are you in sort of trouble? And he's like, no. He said, I want to go out and buy a PA, and I want to figure out gigging.
Yeah.
All right, he says, I promise you we won't take any. As soon as every penny we make gigging, I'll pay you back before we take any money for the gigs. I'll pay you back your money for the PA. And with it, like, we went into probably one or two places, and he was kind of going in vouching, saying,
what's the PA? Because I haven't a clue.
So you'll have your desk, your speakers, your mic, everything you need to get to.
Oh, very good, yeah.
So it was just the two of us went out with like karaoke tracks kind of thing.
Yeah.
He went into everywhere and was like, listen, I promise you she's good. If she's not, I'll never bother you again. But if you think she's good, give us one gig. That's all I want is one gig. And everybody booked us again after that. So
good, yeah.
Within about 2 months, we had my ma paid back.
Yeah.
So just haven't stopped gigging since.
And you love it, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your favourite? What has been your favourite experience, like, of all the places that you've done? Because you've done so many. You've done the Point and the Helix and Vicar Street. And
I prefer smaller places. So like,
I love Vicar Street.
I love Vicar Street. Vicar Street.
I love Vicar Street.
Atmosphere, but like in the like even Vicar Street, like you see the first 2 rows of people, and that's all you see. Like, you don't see anything else.
Yeah.
You've everybody up the top on the balconies. You don't see any of that.
Yeah, we were up on the balcony, not Christmas Gone, obviously that one wasn't on, the Christmas before, and you were a couple of seats down with Darren, and your mum was standing up beside us. But I love the top part because you can see everything.
Well, so I'm like.
But from the stage, you're not going to see us.
But like when I'm watching a game, I don't like that kind. Like my man loves going down. Even Darren be saying like they love going down into the pit where you can kind of stand with people. But, like I'm 5 foot, so I'm standing looking at the back of people's legs, like. So
Yeah, you're on your little thing, aren't you?
You know what I mean? Like, because otherwise I'm like, is it good? What's happening? Like, I can only see the first few rows. So if I'm in like a local pub, you can chat to people, and I like that. I like
yeah, yeah.
Come up to you and you can talk, or they can come up and ask like, oh, will you sing a song for me, whatever. You know, I like being able to do that, and I like being able to, like, these people are coming and they're like a lot of them have booked seats to come and see us, to make, like, the more we've kind of gotten a following gigging.
Yeah, exactly. You did a lot in Swords in the pub that was the Slaughtered Lamb. I'm not sure what's called now.
Empire, it's the Betsy.
Yeah.
So when they took over the Betsy, they stopped taking bands. So we moved
Right.
to the Talk venue, which is an amazing venue.
I have not been in there, and I'm from Swords, so I'm living in Finglas now 2 years, but I haven't even been into that Chalk venue. Is it brilliant? Yeah.
Brilliant. Like, when everything opens back up, definitely.
That's where you'll be going.
Yeah, it's great. Like, it's literally done out like for music. Like, if you're in bands, that's the place to go.
Oh, really? Oh, good. That's deadly.
Yes.
No way.
Dublin to play.
Yeah, Jesus, I don't know. And the 1st of July, you had a post of you. I got to actually play in front of real people for the first time in 16 months. That must have felt great.
Yeah, because our last gig was the 7th of March. So we've literally
last year, yeah.
Yeah, and even at that, on the 1st of July, it was a wedding ceremony in a church. Like, it wasn't even a gig, but I was like, I am treating this like it's slang, because we don't know. Like, some weddings, like in the next couple of months, I think they're going ahead. We don't know if they're going ahead, and like, you just don't know, because then the government are coming out with something else, and they're saying no.
They can change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, bands, they're saying there's no live music allowed. So I don't know, like, we're still in limbo, really.
Yeah. It's a shame. Even I think it's all going to have to change, where it's going to be a situation where most pubs, it's going to be outdoors, and they're going to have to put the stages outdoors and things like that, because you go to the pub for the music. I mean, we don't drink really. Like, I had a drink the other night because we're on holidays, but we haven't drank in about 2 years. But I will certainly be still going to it like a gig. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's the way it's going to have to be. It's going to have to be outdoors for most of it.
So I don't know. I just don't know what they're going to be doing. Like, I think definitely, even when they do have indoors and they're allowing people back in, they're certainly not going. Like, I have a 6-piece band, so I don't see them with open arms.
I love watching you with the band. You all gel so well. Do you know each other? You must know each other years. And I know, obviously, Darren is your husband. And God, oh my God, like 8 years married. Yeah. I remember you getting married, and I can't believe that is 8 years ago. Literally can't. How did you meet him?
Through music, actually. So, do you remember there was the 4 young fellas on Grafton Street, No Angels, they used to busk?
Yes.
So Darren is their cousin. So,
right.
So then when they kind of turned in, they stopped busking and then kind of turned into a band, got instruments and stuff. And Darren used to play bass with them. And get them a couple of support gigs. And he had done like and stuff. So gave them a few support gigs. And then my dad used to kind of go in and see them rehearsing and stuff, and then I kind of got friendly with them because I was the same age as them.
Yeah.
And because they were into music and I was into music, then I'd get up and do a few songs with them. And then at that time, Peter Aiken, who had Aiken Promotions, his father used to have he took over. Peter Aiken took over, but his dad used to do a thing in all around Ireland. He used to be in the Shelter in Vicar Street. He'd have Pop Saturday, so it'd be like kids our age would give us because we couldn't go into pubs and gig because we were like 14. So we had where he'd get teenagers up and we could play our music if it was a band or a singer or whatever. It kind of
very good. So
I started doing that, and then they were doing it as well. They were on the bill, and there was a few other people, and then they'd do them in. We used to travel to Cork. We do it in Cork. We travel to Galway in theatres and stuff. So then Darren started coming in, and that's how it kind of downhill from there, really.
No, I was saying it's together, it's love's young dream. And as I said, there's nothing you can't sing and there's nothing he can't play, so you're absolutely perfect together. But the other lads as well, you just all seem to have a really good connection, like,
Yeah.
and it's lovely to see you have some like really good pictures like with them, and you can tell that you all get
Yeah.
on really well. You're a family, like.
People don't realise how hard a band can be.
Yeah, you've got to be best mates, haven't you?
You have to, because if you don't get on, like you bring that on, like that comes on stage and atmosphere. You don't get that buzz. Like we all love gigging, but if compared to who's an arsehole,
Yeah,
everybody feels that, and there's an atmosphere, and then it transcends into the audience. Like so, yeah.
yeah,
Had so many, like we've had loads of different, like we've had some band members who we got on brilliant with and we absolutely loved, and for whatever reason they may have moved on, or
yeah.
like we had one, we had a bass player from the beginning, Gar. He died last year, unfortunately.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
He was, but like that when he left, like we still remained really good friends, and he was an amazing musician, and like I swear to God, like he was the funniest person in the world, and I'm so well with him. But
Yeah,
he left. We were looking for another bass player, and I was heartbroken. I was like Gar, because
yeah,
he was in the unit. Do you know what I mean? But then we
yeah,
our bass player now, and like he just came in and he slotted in so well with us.
yeah.
And then
And you don't boss it. You're, like you can tell that you're not kind of the boss, and they're the backing band. You are very much a collective group
yeah,
together.
I don't like confrontation, so I kind of I don't want to be the bitch that like do this. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if everybody is on the same page, we all know what we're doing.
exactly.
Is working towards the same goal. We all want to be the best band we can possibly be. We all want to have an amazing gig and have everybody enjoy it. So
Yeah.
we can all work together without being kind of bossy with them, you know, that kind of way. Now,
Well,
we'd have rehearsals and stuff, and like now, Darren kind of would be the boss in that sense, where so something needs to be done, he's like, right, get it done, and he'll sort it. But
good.
everybody's on the same page, so there's never any arguments in a sense that's like, well, I don't want to do this, or because everybody's kind of, we're all
They know what they're doing.
will.
That's excellent. That's really good, because you don't see it. Well, you do. You see it a bit, with some bands, but you can especially tell with yours that you are very much like a group of friends.
Yeah,
And
and like John, like No Angels, I was saying earlier, John was in No Angels, so we know John. I know John, like since I was 12 or something, so I know him like 50 years, and Darren's the same. Darren knows him since he was a kid, so like we're good friends with him. And then Kim, my lead guitarist, myself and Darren, when we started gigging, initially kind of started up a three-piece, so it was me, Darren playing guitar and him playing lead. So we
yeah,
like that was like 12 years ago, 14 years ago, and we had as I said, Chris came in as bass player when Gar left, and he just slotted in, and we had a drummer from the beginning that we kind of started up everything. We done all the auditions for everybody else with our old drummer Alan, but he like so he got married, and then he's gone to do a two-piece with his wife now, and like that he left the band. Now I was devastated when he left.
Is his wife a singer then?
Yeah, they both sing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was, again, like it was kind of, it wasn't like big argument and he walked away and it was like fuck you. It was like I was devastated. I sobbed when he told me he was leaving, and I said like I'll be staying a month, and for the last few gigs I was like, are you sure? But
I don't know.
then he's like, I'll give you a chance to get another. We were so busy, and he didn't want to be gigging on the level we were gigging. He wanted to just take a step back and just kind of, because we got so busy.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? But at the same time, some people aren't into that gigging. Full time nearly. So, we kind of put out the feelers if anybody knew a decent drummer who would be fit into our kind of thing, and we found Igor, our new drummer, and he's incredible, and he's like he's exactly the personality you need. And that's the thing, like, with bands, like they can be the best musician in the world, but if they don't have the right personality to slot in,
Exactly. If they don't gel, it's not gonna work, and it comes across. It would definitely come across on stage. Like absolutely, you'd get the vibe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. Um, your mom's birthday. Your mom's birthday was 2 days ago. Happy birthday. Let me see. How did you cope in lockdown in yourself? Like I know you've lost it like a lot of weight. You've been doing a lot. And obviously you're writing the album. I'm so excited about that because I didn't know about that until today either. That is very exciting. I hope I have the exclusive on that. Yeah. But how has it affected you? Has it affected you in any negative way, or are you just rolling with it? I know, obviously, you probably. Well, for a start as well, I have to say you lost your granddad during this pandemic to cancer, or sorry, to COVID.
So that was a bit, yeah, that was shit.
Yeah.
But see, when all this happened, kind of the end of February, it was like, what is this? What's going on? Like, I have from anxiety. Luckily, I've never, anyone who's ever spoken to me about anxiety, and I've done a lot for PA.
I was going to say that you've done the gigs for PA to House as well. You did the concert of Hope for PA to House. Yeah.
Like that, like I know on things like that. A lot of charities. I've always kind of, if anybody's ever reached out to me, I've always done anything I can for them, and like I understand how many people struggle with mental health. I was just lucky that I never struggled with my mental health or anxiety. But coming into, when it got to around, as I said, our last gig was March, the 7th of March. When it got to beginning of April, really, like, I've never experienced anxiety like it. Like, it was horrific.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting and like I didn't know what was going on. There's all at that stage we didn't know what COVID was. We didn't understand.
No, and we all thought it was going to last 2 weeks, didn't we?
And like everybody, it was like if you go outside your door, you're going to catch it. And like my dad is so vulnerable. He was, after kind of just finishing one session, like one round of chemo, he was really vulnerable. So he was in full lockdown. We couldn't go anywhere with him.
Could you see him at the time?
No. So like,
oh no.
That's all they were telling us, was the old and vulnerable have to be locked up. So he was cocooning. My ma's hairdressers was shut down, so the two of them were in the house together. I couldn't see my ma because if we had anything, she'd carry it to them or whatever.
Exactly.
We were locked in the house. They were locked in the house. Now I was still able to go get me shop and things like that, obviously, but it was just like, what is going on? And
because you're very close to them as well, like, and the kids are very close to them.
It's not as if I have a big family. Like, oh look, I can't make all my brothers and sisters, and like they have me, Karen, and the kids. Do you know? I don't have aunties and stuff like that, but I mean, like,
there's no, you're an only child, aren't you?
Yeah, so it was kind of all of that, and then I was like worrying if he caught it, and indefinitely if he catches it, he'll die, and that. You know what I mean? So.
But it was literally like that as well. It was for him,
Oh, you know what I mean? So there was all of that, and then I'm in like 60, 70 emails daily saying weddings cancelled, gigs cancelled, and I'm like, oh my.
What?
Like, my business, like, this is my business, my full-time job gone. Like,
it's your life, it's your mortgage, it's everything, isn't it?
So that was just like, that was scary. That was a scary time.
Yeah, and as you said, like, you don't get, like, when you're like a self-employed like musician, you don't get help or sick pay or anything like that. Like, you just.
And not only that, I'm worrying about all of this, and then I'm like, I then have to tell 5 band members, sorry lads, but the diary that was full is now empty, like, more or less, for the still know what's going on. So that was kind of, we have a group for the band, and I'm kind of another like, we have like an online diary, so I'll upload it and they'll get a notification, and I'm like, that's that gig's gone, that gig's gone, that gig's gone, that gig's gone. So it was just like coming at me like a million miles an hour, and I'm like, oh my god. So that I struggled big time with that, like, I really did. And then I was terrified, like, I wanted to go up to the stables or whatever, and he can't, like, came on to go out with his friends, and I'm saying we can't go anywhere. What if we catch it? And because I was so, now I've calmed down now, thanks be to Jesus. I wouldn't be here by now if I was still, because you know what I mean, I would have just went off my head. But for a while now I was, because I didn't know what was going on. I was like sitting looking at the numbers every day and on the news.
I had to stop looking at the news, Ciara, at a couple of stages, and just say, do you know what, I'm not looking at it, because it was doing me head in. And obviously with the kids in school and everything, you're like, I don't even know if I want to bring them. But then it got to the stage, obviously they were out for so long, so by the time they were going back, you were like, you know what, they need it, like they do need it. But
I am not cut out to be a bleeding teacher. My God.
Neither am I.
I don't know how they do it.
And you have stepping stones, haven't you? Because how old is Keane? He must be 15, 16.
Oh, Keane is 17. He's 18 in October.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. And then where's it? What's Ava?
Ava is 13 and Jake is 7. So Keane was kind of doing his own thing. Like, Keane would have to teach me things. Like, I wouldn't have a clue if he showed me his work. So he was going on his own work. Ava, a few things she'd come to me with, but most of the stuff she was fine with her homework, because she was kind of with our friends and they were all doing the homework together. Well, I had to sit with Jake, so he was kind of doing first class work. So I'm kind of sitting, and even that I was like, oh my God. I was emailing teachers, you know, because we had to email all the work back, and I was like, why would you?
Did you have the Seesaw app as well?
Yeah.
I found that so hard to use.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of emailing the teachers like, why would you choose this as a profession? Like, you had a choice to be something else and you chose it.
Yeah, I'd be the same. I don't understand why people want to be childminders. Well,
found respect for after lockdown, big time.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I found it very hard now trying to keep the interest going. Like, they just weren't arse. I know I'm going to sound cheeky, but you did a song called, is it just called One? And is it by U2?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I much rather your version, and I'm not just saying that because I have you on. I'm not a big U2 fan, but I do really like that song. But yeah, no, I think yours is absolutely brilliant, far better. But we won't tell Bono that I said that. Fairy Tale New York, as I said, the Christmas things, like, it's just absolutely brilliant. I want to ask you about the Santa visit. You had the Santa van come to your house for the kids, and now this is only just pure nosiness because I want to get it myself. But how was it like? How was the Santa? I could see it was like a well done up van, like a little grotto, when they went in and got their presents and all that. But Santa had his mask and all, and it was just such a great idea because the kids were ripped off this year. They couldn't go to see Santa, and we're lucky with Chris's parents took our kids up the north to see the Santa experience, and they go on this little train and everything, and they went in, and you know, they have the picture taken, but they're standing beside Santa, and Santa's in this chair. But when they got home, they explained to us Santa wasn't in the chair. They photoshopped him into the chair afterwards. So they really were ripped off. So the van thing is a much better idea, and that's all I just wanted to see. What was your take on that? Because I think that would be a better idea this year for them then.
And like, you can have groups as well. So basically what it was a friend that had this idea, went out and bought a couple of vans, done them all up into little grottos. And he'll just pull up on, like, say you get on to him and say, like, he's actually taking bookings now. But he, like, say he'll say you have 15 kids off your road. The kids will queue up outside, the elves will play with them and chat to them while they're waiting, and then they come in and visit Santa, they get their present, they tell them whatever they need, whatever they want to get.
Very good.
And everything is sanitized when you're coming in, and then after each group leaves, if they had like a sterilizer thing, like a smoke thing, they close up, all sterilized for the next group of people. So everything is very, very well done.
Very good. Yeah, I'd definitely be doing that for my little gang now, because we've a few of them. We've 4 of them and 2 grandkids in the house, and you're not like, still, I think by Christmas I'd be going to a gig if there was one on, but I certainly wouldn't be bringing me kids into a shopping centre to sit on Santa's lap. Do you know what I mean?
even if things were normal by then, it's great to just not have to, like, how often
Yeah.
put it in a queue for like 3 hours to get in and see him. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, and my smallest is 3, and I know he wouldn't stand in a queue for long. Plus, he'd probably get in there and not want to sit near Santa in the first place anyway. Yeah, you were on News Talk for the Marie Keaton Foundation as well. Was that an interview, or was that just awareness for cancer?
So I keep saying last year, but last year didn't happen. The year before at Christmas, so Linda Keaton every year does like a lunch. So she have where does the Gresham? I want to say the Gresham. No, the what's the one beside Stephen's Green? The Shelbourne.
Yeah.
So she'll have like a lunch there, like a ladies' lunch. So it's kind of at 4 o'clock. Have like a 4-course lunch. And then everybody that pays at the table, that goes in. They have music at the end of it. So 2 years ago, I done the music. She asked, it was actually Gary. He has been for the last few years. He does DJ for them. So she asked him if I would be interested in going in and doing a couple of songs. That I would always kind of jump at, because it's such a great opportunity to, you sing in front of more people, but you're kind of able to raise awareness for it too, like, so.
Absolutely.
For breast cancer and stuff, it was brilliant to kind of, and it's a really, like, it is a really good charity. They do an awful lot. They have on the that go and do house visits and stuff. Can't get out if people need respite or whatever, and they can't get out, if their carers are can't get out or don't drive or whatever, they will go and send a nurse to your house, and all their funding is done that way. So
that's brilliant. That is brilliant. That's really good. Yeah, absolutely. That is brilliant. And because the problem right now, I think as well with COVID, like, I know my Jamie was in St. Francis Hospice, and if you notice, a lot of people wouldn't notice, is that none of the boxes are in the shops anymore.
No.
None of they're not, and those places have no government funding, including the Laura Lynn Hospice, which is the children's hospice. They don't get any government funding whatsoever, so they really do rely on donations, and because of COVID, they can't even have them boxes.
No.
So it's really good to highlight.
Can't have the fundraisers that we would.
No.
I done a big gig in the Crown Plaza in Blanchardstown a few years ago for Laura Lynn, because when I was in school, in secondary school, Lynn was in my school, and she over me. So the girls, three of the girls that were good friends with Lynn, they arranged a big meal, and we done myself and Darren done music for the night and things like that. They raised loads of money for the foundation, but. Because there was that connection, they came to me, they were like, you were in the school, you knew, or would you be interested in doing? I was like, 100%. And like, our mother sent me a card. I couldn't even read the card afterwards, but like, thanking me for doing that. Like, how could you not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, of course you're going to do that. Like,
no, come here, Kira, you're a genuinely nice person as well. I mean, I literally voice messaged you last week and said, will you please do a live interview? And I was thinking, oh my God, and you didn't reply first, and I thought, oh my God. I said, you know what, doesn't matter, it was worth an ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. And I felt a little bit silly, and then I was literally sitting up in bed, and I think I was ready to go to sleep. And I was talking to Chris, and I was scrolling on the phone and oh my God, Kira Diggins had to send me a message. Oh my God. And I went into the message, and you said, I was just away at a hotel and I didn't get to, I just realised I hadn't replied. Of course, I'll do an interview. Well, Kira, I'm not lying when I say I was literally shaking like a leaf. I was sobbing. I didn't like voice message you actually in a blubbering mess. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy. It's just, you're a genuinely lovely person, and you're not all about yourself. You're not all about obviously you're going to make money for you and your family and all the rest of it, and please God, I'm so happy that you have an album coming and all the rest of it, because even with all this COVID, that's gonna take off massively. Like, you know how good you are, your husband knows how good you are, and you have a 6-piece band because 4 more people know how good you are, and they're putting their livelihoods in your hands. Do you know what I mean? So don't doubt yourself ever, girl. And I am like absolutely blown away that you've given me this chance to do it. Like, so I was like, oh my God, like, who am I? She's gonna be like, is this one serious? That's that one that grabbed me in deals. But I do. I thank you very much. And I just have. I'm going to take it down a little bit now because I don't. Hold on. I don't want to be cracking you up too much, and I know that you've been in work all day, but what would you think has been the hardest thing that you've had to cope with during COVID?
Probably the not even financial struggle as such. I know there's people in far worse positions than I am, but just like I said, they kind of having to deal with my whole business just gone, and not having any answers, not knowing when it's going to be fixed. Like that's
maybe. I know, but maybe in this case for you it might be a little blessing in disguise because you mightn't have gotten the time to do the album for another couple of years, and you're so good. You are so good, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for it. I usually ask people, what did you want to be when you grow up? I know what you wanted to be when you grew up. What advice, Ciara, would you give your 13-year-old self?
Probably stop worrying so much about what people think of you. And to be honest with you, I would 100% tell me 35-year-old Ciara that as well, because I still worry. But I'm trying to work on.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm 40 and I'm only starting to feel like I don't really care anymore what people think of me in the last 2 years. Do you know what I mean? I think it does take that long because you doubt yourself and you question every decision you're making, and especially when you have kids, and especially like you have not only yourself and Darren, you have them other 4 lads as well. So every decision you make is affecting a few people's lives and their families, and so I can imagine the pressure that's on you.
As a mammy, you're kind of, especially because I was so young having them, having kids, like I think you don't really know who you are, and then suddenly you're in charge of another human being, and you have to keep them alive, and you have to I think you don't really have time to be yourself, and I think it took I'm getting there, but I think it took to know who I was as a person.
Yeah.
But I definitely, if I was to talk to myself at any point in my life up until today, I would always say, try not to be. Don't be so hard, worrying so much about what people think of you. I'd say that it is. It's something, as I said, I'm still working on. But
and I know you love cooking. You are mad into cooking, aren't you?
Yeah,
I love watching all your recipes on your stories. They're not usually on feed posts, but I'd watch the stories.
I was kind of like, I'm annoying people, and it purely happened because when I was in lockdown, I just was baking, and I put a picture one day. I was at the baking something, God knows what it was at the time, but somebody sent me a message saying, hey, can you send me the recipe? And then about 2 minutes later, somebody else, can you send me the recipe? And I was like, what? Okay. And I was just getting loads of messages, and they were like, you should do a step, like you should do as you're doing your baking, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll do one. So I done one, say a few days later, and then I had loads of people getting on, like, and then I done it 3 or 4 of them, and then I was kind of like, I think there's people that'd be like she's a singer, what? They're annoying me, like, and I again like that. Don't worry about what people think. I was worrying about what people were thinking.
Yeah. But you're not only a singer, you're a mammy, and you're running a house, and you're running a family home, like, do you know what I mean? Teenagers and all, that's hard.
Like I started kind of being like worrying about people saying, oh my God, gobshite, like what's she doing that for? But not realising now, thinking about it, I'm like, if you don't want to watch them, just click. Like, I'm not asking you to watch my stories. But then loads of people are sending me messages saying, even up until yesterday, like, I'm getting messages saying, why haven't you put your bacon stuff up? Or when you put up another bacon thing? So like, when I've time, I will do. Because people seem to enjoy them, like. But I was like,
You're really good. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, you're really good at baking. I know you threw a cake together for your mad the other day because you had an hour. That would take me a week. But you lost so much weight, Ciara, in lockdown.
yeah. Well, so what happened was I started Slimming World before the world ended. What?
Yeah, before the apocalypse.
Yeah. So I just kind of I wasn't comfortable in my own skin, really.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing that. That was grand. And then lockdown happened, and I was like, no, I'm gonna stick with this. I was getting like we were getting food delivered here, like they shop and delivered, because I was terrified of shops. I was terrified of
Yeah.
are getting food delivered to the house, groceries, like.
Yeah.
And like if Darren and Keane or whatever would get a chipper, I was like, no, I'm being good, whatever. And
Good
then
woman.
kind of a few weeks into it, then I was like, I could have 2 chips. And then I got kind of, and then I kind of fell off it for a few weeks. And then I was like, you know what? No, not gonna. The more I was thinking of the album and things like that, to be honest, I don't want to. My thing was, at that stage, I was thinking I'll be back gigging in a couple of months, and I was like, I don't want to be uncomfortable. And that's, I genuinely, like, on stage I felt very uncomfortable in myself. I felt, yeah.
Because you never looked it, in fairness, you never looked it like, I know you have this whole rock chick style, and you rocked that. You rocked that. You were the only girl I know that can wear a silk pleated skirt and Doc Martens and own that shit.
That's, I was like kind of be covering, you know what I mean, and I just would feel uncomfortable. So
yeah,
I'm gonna just really use lockdown to be like, right, use it as something positive. It was kind of when I was trying to pull myself out of that anxiety and worrying about losing gigs and all that. I'm gonna focus on positive things. I started manifesting and reading up on manifesting and things like that. So even the album, like, I'm manifesting the shit out of my album. And I started walking, and I was like, really got stuck into Slimming World, because Slimming World closed then, obviously, like everything, and it was all Zooms. So I was like, no, and because I enjoy cooking, I was just like, if I want to make a spaghetti or whatever, I make it from scratch. So I know there's no crap going into it. I know what I'm eating. And so I was kind of just really strict on that, and then going on my walks, and that was getting my head together by going on my walks. So that's kind of where it. And then with the album, I was like, no, I want to do more, and I want to tone up more, and I want it, like, I'm going to be doing photo shoots, and I want to be not doing photo shoots and looking back on the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, and years look back on pictures, like I'd be on stage, people taking videos or photographs, and like I could see them taking them, and I'd be like, oh my god, and I don't feel that anymore. So
well, you look absolutely amazing. You really, really do. You really, really do. Do you know what? You should be very proud, girl. I know you are. I know your family are, and I don't know. I think you and Darren are fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. As I said, I remember the wedding. I remember your dad being sick, actually, for the wedding. Like, and that's a long time ago. But you're absolutely brilliant. I've no more to say, girl. I really don't. I am going to leave that there because, I've taken up enough of your evening for one. You can get back to your husband now. You've been in work all day, I know, and get yourself back to your album. But I hope you do keep in touch. And before you go, I do just want to, I have already met and thanked your dad, but for people that don't know, Jamie, my brother, when he died in St. Francis Hospice, Aslan, that day they came into the hospice, they rang the hospice, at 1 in the afternoon, and they said it was Billy McGuinness on the phone, and he said they had gotten an email, and they had only received it now, but it was a week old, and it was from Jamie's friends. I didn't know about this, and it was from Jamie's friends, and they wanted like just something signed or whatever, because Jamie was a massive, massive Aslan fan. And the nurse gave me the phone and she said, "You want to talk to this?" And when I got on the phone, it was Billy. And I said, "Do you know what? He's not actually great today." And this was on Friday. It was the 3rd of April in 2009. And the nurse said to me, nurse is taking me, and she said, no, she said, just, let them come in. He can hear. Now, they obviously knew, the nurses obviously knew, but I didn't, that was going to be the day. And within an hour and a half, they were there. And your dad and all out of the car. Well, I was starstruck. I could not believe it. Like on a Friday afternoon, with an hour's notice, Ciara, they showed up. I'm sure your dad has already told you the story. They came in, they talked to us for like 20 minutes. They sang Crazy World to Jamie in the bed. I have the words of Crazy World tattooed on my arm. They couldn't have been nicer. I have pictures of her dad literally leaning over Jamie's bed and holding his little hands, and you could see that he really meant it. Do you know what I mean? He was so good. They didn't have to do that, Ciara. They didn't. And Jamie, when they started singing, Jamie's face started to fill with bubbles of sweat. And I said to the nurse, "Is he okay?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, he knows that they're there and he just doesn't have the energy to open his eyes. And that, when I said they left at about 3:30 that day, and Jamie died at 5 to 7 that evening.
I remember
and I thought that also 5:27. And the only reason I don't have a clock on it is so people didn't keep asking me, "What's the significance of 5 to 7?" So I thought I'll just put 5, 2 and 7. Do you know what I mean? But that's the significance. And I already have thanked your dad, and just you pass that on again for me. I actually met him in what's that shopping centre up in Finglas? Charlestown. He was doing a book signing last year, just before COVID as well, and I went up and I got the book and he signed it for me, but I brought him up a picture of him with Jamie and gave it to him. So just, nobody knew about that. Like why I'm saying that is there was another lad in the hospice as well, and there was a few people brought in for him, from they were other like football players and things like that. But they brought in with them like newspapers. There was newspapers, reporters came with them, and then there was pictures were taken, and these were published. But your dad and the lads, they got out of that car, they walked into the hospice, they looked at Jamie like a real person. They gave him their time on a Friday afternoon, and I'll never forget what they did. And I know from Jamie's reaction, where he couldn't even open his eyes, that boy didn't open his eyes again after they left here. And that I'll be forever grateful for that. Forever grateful to your dad for that. And he has raised an absolute diamond in you as well. So I am going to let you go now, and I want to thank you so much for coming on, and I wish you all the luck in the world with the new album. And I'm so excited about it because I didn't know about that until today, so I am super excited about that. And I know you've had a long day at work, so thank you so much again for coming on.
Oh, thanks.
No, not at all. Thank you so much, and keep me posted, won't you, on what's going on? And
yeah, I will.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, darling. Well, I won't say you survived an interview with this mammy, because there is no survival here. I think I survived an interview with Ciara Dignam, and I am so proud. I'm so proud and so glad that you gave me this opportunity. I really am.
Oh, for having me.
So get back to your husband and and get in and look after them kids. And thank you, just thank you, Ciara. I can't thank you enough. And I'll be bear hugging you in Deals the next time I see you.
No problem.
All right, darling. Thank you. Oh no, one more thing, Ciara, sorry. one more thing. This vocal school that you do, are you still training? Are you still
No,
training?
not at the moment. When we started it up, my dad was starting to get sick, and we didn't know what was wrong at the time. And then when he was diagnosed, then we had to close down
Okay.
because it was the two of us were running it.
Is it something you might continue in the future?
Yeah, I probably will. I probably
Yeah.
will. I'm gonna go with the album, try and make that work, and then the millions I make out of that, then I can invest into.
Yeah. Well, I'll be your first customer for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to sing better in the shower.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Ciara, good night, love, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks a million.
Bye.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. An absolute star. You can see from me, I am grinning from ear to ear. The girl is an absolute diamond. She is so selfless. That everything she does for her family, for her band, for her husband, for her parents, for her kids. And I am just so blessed to have had the opportunity to interview Ciara Dignam. And I'll tell you something, I will never forget this night. I'm so happy. So Ciara, thank you so much. And everybody watching, thank you so much. And I'll speak to you all soon. Good night from Spain. Morning, everybody. We are